Good day, everyone. We're Group 8 and we will be presenting our midterm assessment or Pecha Kucha. So for the introduction, Dr. Rizal we all know as our greatest hero, an anthropologist, geographer, historian, and novelist, and so on. He was a patriot and a hero. He sacrificed his own life for the redemption and freedom of his people. As an honor to him, Republic Act 1425 or otherwise Rizal Law was made to know his life works and writing heroism in all schools in the country. Senator Jose P. Laurel, who sponsored the said law for the people to witness the greatness and principles of which Rizal held until his death. This would help the Filipino youth to have courage and determination to write and to teach. Jose Rizal addresses Filipino youth, believing the youth can help and cooperate to have a compact and unified future with a common affection. He believes that these young youth are ambitious, courageous, and indomitable to succeed. He calls upon youths to join hands to simulate the government in having a complete peace throughout the length of breadth of the Philippines. For the thesis statement, as the majority of the youth spend their time online, they should be able to incorporate results values into their social media efforts to serve him as a role model in the virtual world. For point number one, it would benefit the youth to comprehend Rizal's perspective on the various matters regarding the society while applying it to the new normal, as well as solving the current issues they encounter today. Rizal's motives for the sake of his country's future, thus promoting nationalistic goals. Example, according to Constantino 1970, is profound on his understanding of his countrymen and as an ilustrado hero whose life's mission corresponded in a general way to the wishes and aspirations of the people. The youth would improve their critical analysis of circumstances. For example, Rizal created novels to enlighten the reader's minds about the situation and the government. He constructed figures to depict and communicate a message, and the people were perplexed and figured out about it. With Rizal's capabilities or abilities and other shown skills, as well as his contributions, he was able to advance in his studies to the point where he applied his learning to his surroundings. The youth can utilize their knowledge from having a greater variety of concepts that they've gained from Rizal to solve intricacies of the situations, and they may even have ideas that would provide faster and better alternatives. His writings were part of the tradition of protest, which blossomed into a revolution. Constantino, 1970, page 135, similarly to the youth, giving this idea may misinterprets Rizal's action, turning his attitude as a motivation to initiate a revolution to solve the long-standing societal issues. According to Schumacher 2011, the novels of Rizal cannot be read by young people without the aid of a competent teacher or editor. This implies that analysis would end up wrong and could cause a result of spreading misconceptions if the youth did not have a proper guidance on the introduction to Rizal's point of view.
For reason number two, Rizal exhibited credibility by demonstrating patriotism, which led to a great decision that would serve as an example to the youth. The two novels of Dr. Jose Rizal have been compulsory readings in colleges and universities, which causes the youth to recognize Dr. Jose Rizal's contribution in our country. His novels are said to develop in youth a sane and constructive nationalism, but not the moral qualities of justice, responsibility, and integrity. Rizal never advocated independence, nor he did advocate armed resistance to the government. He urged reform from within the publicity by public education and appeal to the public conscience. Rizal contributed much to the growth of his national consciousness. It was a contribution not only in terms of propaganda, but in something positive than the present generation of Filipinos will owe to him and for which they will honor him. They do not perceive adverse consequences too residual to analyze and resolve the contradiction. The consequences are manifest in our regard for our revolution and in our understanding of Rizal. Colonialism is the only agency trying to sell the idea that the freedom is a diploma to be granted by superior people to an inferior one after a years of apprenticeship.
Each individual person has been given the rights for freedom to express or choose his and her will and ideas. According to Schumacher, 2011, a person has the right self-concept to express and decide for the future of itself without the involvement of others, such as the religions. According to Schumacher 2011, the moral standard of a person should be higher, and it is determined by its freedom itself. According to Constantino, 1970, the consciousness of a person is determined by the awareness of its self-development and experience of growth. According to Constantino, 1970, understanding of free will of a person is limited because of a low-educated person that can lead to misunderstanding of a freedom. According to Constantino, 1970, a dangerous and violent approach of each individual for freedom, such as the Katupineros did, where they used violence over cleverness.
Conclusion. By doing a brief summary of the lessons, we've learned that the essence of actual free will can be observed in Rizal's literary works, which also led to his death and culminated in the independence of the Philippines as a result of expressing his viewpoint. And this is where Rizal can represent every individual who is battling for their value, for their freedoms and values. Thus, it is related to the concept of expressing freedom of speech, in which individuals may share their views or opinions about things they support and to post on their social media platforms.
So that's all. So here is our references. Thank you for listening.